YouTube is facing a full-scale advertising boycott over hate speech, according to The Verge. The biggest brands continue to leave. More companies are pulling advertising from YouTube over Google's inability to ensure ads won't appear next to hateful and offensive content. The Wall Street Journal reports that YouTube videos centered on racist, homophobic, and anti-Semitic views are still scooping up ads from brands like Coca-Cola, Amazon, and Microsoft. This is even after reports last week exposed the issue and led to mass advertising boycotts in the United Kingdom and now the United States, prompting Google to promise companies that it would solve the issue and implement better tools and moderation practices. Following the Wall Street Journal's findings, PepsiCo, Walmart, Dish, Starbucks, and GM all pulled their advertising, joining a growing list of dozens of companies in Europe and the US since the Times of London first shined the spotlight on the problem. A majority of these companies are pulling advertising from YouTube and sites that use Google's ad exchange technology. That means not only is Google's video arm taking a hit, but its broader network of web advertising is suffering too, as companies are under the assumption that Google is incapable of policing neither YouTube videos nor third-party websites with its current blend of user flagging, human moderation, and algorithmic detection. That leaves only targeted search advertising intact, which is when a company pays money to bid for a placement of an ad on Google's search results page when a user types in a certain combination of keywords. Even still, some companies like FX Networks have begun pulling all advertising from Google, including search ads, until it resolves the issues at hand, the Wall Street Journal reports. This has become a rather precarious problem for YouTube and Google's larger advertising operation, both of which rely on what's called programmatic advertising that uses algorithms and not humans to dictate placement. For years, YouTube has championed itself as the destination for any and all video on the internet, and will lose restrictions around graphic and offensive content and creators espousing views many traditional broadcasters would classify as hate speech. This has allowed YouTube to balloon in popularity, even when it does veer into hosting illegal content like copyrighted material or terrorist propaganda. The site is shielded by federal law from being legally held responsible. The end result is that YouTube enjoys 400 hours of video uploaded every minute and 1 billion hours of video consumed every day, with around 11 billion revenue last year. Yet a growing chunk of that video is the type of content advertisers want nothing to do with, and due to the current political climate, it's become increasingly popular for content creators to make a living off hateful content that panders to bigots and fringe political groups like the alt-right. YouTube is now in the position of being structurally incapable of policing its platform and perhaps culturally hesitant even to do so with the more heavy-handed moderation methods. Even more pressing is the possibility that YouTube's business simply cannot operate at its current scale with human moderation required to ensure no ad is placed on an objectionable video. Google is willing to try, if only to stem the exodus of advertisers. We've begun an extensive review of our advertising policies and have made a public commitment to put in place changes that give brands more control over where their ads appear, Google said in a statement given to The Verge on Wednesday. We're also raising the bar for our ads policy to further safeguard for our advertiser brands. The statement followed a more direct plea to advertisers earlier this week, in which Google promised it would be giving brands more direct control over and insight where ads were placed on YouTube and Google-partnered third-party sites. The company also promised new tools like artificial intelligence-powered filtering that would detect offensive language and other contents within a video and flag it. Bloomberg reports that Google plans on implementing these new tools and changes as soon as this Sunday, according to an internal company memo. Yet it's unclear just how effective Google's new tools will be, and what it might take to bring advertisers back. So what this means is that YouTube is continuing down a downward spiral, because they surrender to the advertisers instead of holding their ground, and they do have a lot of power. They have surrendered to the advertisers and now are hurting their users to try and make happy with advertisers. It's also an opportunity for the old media to try and rein in the political YouTubers, in general, on the site. And ad revenue overall has been going down on YouTube. And the reason why is, from that article, YouTube's revenue was 11 billion. the impact of the boycott so far, from what I've been reading, is to the tune of 750 million per year. So that's a very significant number. Not quite 1/10 of all revenue on YouTube, but it's edging in that direction, and it's not ending. The boycott is not going to go away. And so this is very damaging for YouTube as a whole. And for me personally, it's exceptionally damaging because although the gaming side of YouTube, which most of my videos are on video games, although that's not directly affected, indirectly ad revenue is going down on YouTube as a whole. So that also affects gaming videos. But on top of that, because the gaming market on YouTube is oversaturated, one of the things I wanted to do was move more towards covering politics, and so that's taken in a sense a death blow. I figured that I could provide something unique on YouTube in terms of covering politics, and that plan just just got shot in the face, so to speak. But it's also the only viable plan I have going forward because of the situation when it comes to gaming videos. So to that end, I do plead with people that do like my content in general to support me via PayPal or Patreon, because the way things are going on YouTube, and it's been happening for a while, is the way it's going on YouTube, relying on ad revenue just isn't viable anymore. And that's kind of been known for a while. If you wanted to make a living off YouTube, then you really didn't need to rely on either fan funding or YouTube Red or Patreon or PayPal. So I am making a plea to people because the damage this has caused, like my ad revenue has been going down. And recently I've only been covering games. I've been doing a lot of Mass Effect Andromeda videos, and it's not like I've been getting less views than I typically get, but the ad revenue just in general has been going down as of late, ever since they announced this. So that's an exceptionally bad thing that's going on, and YouTube buckling under the pressure from the advertisers is only going to continue the downward spiral on the site. Another thing I want to talk about is that one of the biggest networks on YouTube, Maker Studios, shut down, and I was a part of that. Now that means tens of thousands of YouTube content creators no longer have a network. Now it's fairly easy to find a new network, and I did that. I was afraid that switching networks would cause a lot of problems, but it was fairly quick, and I joined Union for Gamers, which is owned by Curse and was created by the YouTuber Fiend, who designed it in such a way as to really benefit the content creators on YouTube. So that's that whole thing went well, far better than I expected. I expected some nonsense at the very least. I expected it to at the very least to lose some of my videos, but because of content ID matches and all that, but it went well. And the biggest problem on YouTube is that what they really seem to be doing is they're gonna just throw more robots on the site, because they can't police every bit of content on YouTube. They're gonna throw more robots on the site, and what that means is you're gonna have videos en masse being targeted, even if they don't fall under the definition of what the content advertisers really want to get rid of. And that's a really big problem. And it doesn't end here and won't end here. Now, strengthening YouTube from YouTube Creator Blog. Strengthening YouTube for advertisers and creators. At YouTube, we believe everyone should have a voice. Since our founding, free expression has been one of our core values, allowing creators to share their ideas with over 1 billion fans from around the world. We also believe that creators should have an opportunity to earn a living from their channels, and we are proud that many do. For almost a decade, we've shared advertising revenue with our creators based on the success of their videos, and that revenue has created a vibrant new economy, where anyone with a camera or a phone can turn their creativity into a career. But there is a difference between free expression that lives on YouTube and the content that brands have told us they want to advertise against. Our advertiser content policy set the tone for which videos can earn revenue, ensuring that ads only appear where they should. To make sure we apply this process fairly, we also give creators the chance to appeal if they feel any of their videos have been unfairly demonetized. We take these steps because advertiser confidence is critical to the financial success of our creators. After listening to strong feedback from our advertisers, today we announced a number of actions and we want to explain what these changes might mean for you. Now, this was from March 20th. Tougher stance on hate speech. Both creators and advertisers are concerned about hate speech, so are we. To protect the livelihoods of our creators and to strengthen advertiser confidence, we will be implementing broader demonetization policies around videos that are perceived to be hateful or inflammatory. This includes removing ads more effectively from content that is harassing or attacking people based on their race, religion, gender, or similar categories. Strengthening advertiser control for videos and display ads. In the coming weeks, we will add new advertiser controls that make it easier for brands to exclude higher risk content and fine-tune where they want their ads to appear. Accelerating appeals. Today, any creator whose video is demonetized can launch an appeal to have their video reviewed. Moving forward, we plan to improve the process so that reviews can happen even faster. Safeguarding creators in our YouTube Partner Program. Since we rolled out the YouTube Partner Program 10 years ago, it has enabled millions of creators to earn revenue and build a new generation of emerging media businesses. We want to protect our creators, so we'll be introducing new YouTube Partner Program safeguards to prevent abuse that hurts their earnings, like the impersonation of their channels, reinstating our commitment to diversity. Finally, we want YouTube to remain a place where creators can express themselves while earning revenue, where fans can discover new voices, and where advertisers have a place to reach engaged audiences. To keep that incredible dynamic going, advertisers have to feel confident their ads are only appearing where they should. Although ad restrictions can feel limiting, they're essential to protecting the livelihoods of creators. My ass. So, this is really what's really disappointing about this entire situation is that YouTube as a company, Google as a company, has fought fierce battles for freedom of speech. I'm not talking here easy ones. They've stood up to far-right dictatorships. They've stood up to corporate pressure. They were instrumental in defeating the Stop Online Piracy Act. They were instrumental in implementing the current net neutrality rules, whether or not they remain in action, considering what's going on right now in Washington, remains to be seen. But really, the point is this: YouTube stood its ground for so many years, only to cry and run away when the advertisers came smashing the door down, and they surrendered to the advertisers, to the corporate overlords. And there you have it. That's the world we live in. And it makes sense, following the election. This is all a result of the election because because following the election, it's like, oh, fake news. That's hateful speech. And when in reality, it's really a way. And although advertisers might, some advertisers might be doing it for legitimate reasons, it's also being used by people who just want to censor YouTubers that cover politics on the site because they want to control it, because they don't have control over social media. I mean, Twitter and Reddit are already in a terrible place. Facebook is moving in that direction, and what YouTube just did right now is gonna very negatively impact freedom of speech. So, so really, we're going forward. What's the option? What's the option for YouTube content creators? Already, some of the bigger YouTubers that cover politics on the site really rely on Patreon and PayPal, and they're probably going to end up relying more and more. But, well, this is what happens when you surrender to the advertisers and let them effectively have their way, because they want safe videos. They want family-friendly videos. They don't want any controversial content of any kind. They don't want any serious discussions occurring on YouTube. I mean, things were already bad before these changes. Let me make a point on that. Things were already bad in terms of covering politics, at least on certain subjects. Now, they're going to get a lot worse. And keep in mind, they still haven't given advertisers control over the ads. So it's going to get even worse and worse the more time goes by. Because when you give people a finger, they'll bite your entire arm off. That's what's going to happen in this particular situation. Costin here on Serious Gaming, signing out. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Thank you all for watching. And, well, stay tuned for more. And if you like my content, please, I plead with you, support me via Patreon or PayPal, because the way things are going on YouTube right now, the current model is just unsustainable for everyone involved.